We were kneeling. We were knocked down. They started beating us with nightsticks, trampling us with horses, and releasing the tear gas. I was hit in the head by a state trooper with a nightstick. I lost consciousness. 50 years later, I don't recall how I made it back across that bridge to the little church that we had left from. Apparently, a group literally carried me back to the church. I do recall being back at the church. The church is full, more than 1,000 people on the outside trying to get in the church to protest what had happened. They asked me to say something, and I stood up and said, I don't understand it. How President Johnson can send troops to Vietnam, but cannot send troops to Selma, Alabama, to protect people who only desires to register to vote. The next thing I knew, I had been admitted with 16 other people to a little hospital in Selma, and a group of nuns took care of us.
The physical scars or the mental scars? What's been more lasting?
Well, the physical scars are still visible. When I go back, I remember the bridge for me is almost a sacred place. That's where some of us gave a little blood and where some people almost died. But that bridge and what happened on that Sunday have changed America forever.
When did you know that that was a moment that was actually going to bring good instead of bad?
2 days later, after Bloody Sunday, Martin Luther King Jr. came back with a group of religious leaders, priests, rabbis, nuns, ministers, and I knew something good was going to happen. 8 days after Bloody Sunday, Lyndon Johnson made one of the most meaningful speeches any American president had made in modern time. The whole question of civil rights or voting rights. We call it the "We Shall Overcome" speech.
It'd be perfectly understandable if you were bitter. Bitter today, bitter a week later from when it happened, bitter 20 years. Were you bitter ever?
I was not bitter then. I'm not bitter now.
How?
I never became bitter.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, how?
I grew in the movement to accept the way of love, the way of peace, the way of nonviolence, the way of forgiveness, as a way of life, as a way of living. And we were taught never to become bitter, never to hate. So you may beat us, you may jail us, you may kill some of us. And some people did get killed. Mm-hmm. People left bloody, some left dead. Reverend James Reed, a young minister, came down from Boston. He was beaten. And a few days later, he died at a local hospital in Birmingham. Jimmy Lee Jackson, death, who grew up near Selma, provoked the march. But none of us became bitter. We witnessed the bombing of the church in Birmingham where the full of girls was killed. Right. You have to have the ability and the capacity to be able to forgive and to move on.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.